Welcome back in one of the Better From Plays YouTube channel. Today is Wednesday, January 15th, and I'm back breaking down some more college basketball plays for the Wednesday night slate. Have a couple really good matchups to look at for Wednesday night. Before we get into those, we got to talk about Tuesday. Horrible day, 1-4. Really could have been 0-5, should have been 0-5, really, because Yerk Phelps in the last minute of that game scored 4 points for Texas A&M and gave us a backdoor cover on a player prop. Over 19.5 points was the only one on the night. We lost 4 games. Alabama loses outright going up against Ole Miss. That's why Alabama's not really a threat, in my opinion, to win at all this season, because if they're not making their shots, they don't have a good enough defense to carry them to win. So Alabama couldn't make a shot tonight, and the weakness of that defense showed. 74-64, I think that final was. Other play was Mississippi State plus 7.5. No Johnny Broome. Does not matter for Auburn. They're an absolute wagon. I thought they would really struggle in this game. They struggled against South Carolina for a majority of that game a couple days ago, but they're just too strong, too well coached, too good of defense. Mississippi State struggle from the field. They lose that game pretty heavily. And the other play over Texas A&M, Kentucky, it was a close game, but if you were watching the game, I think the over/under missed by 4 points, but it was really never a doubt that it was going under. It started the game like 16-15 with like 12 minutes through. Neither team really find a lot of momentum. Kentucky in the second half found some momentum offensively, but Texas A&M, that was just garbage points, and it really was never close to the over. So some really bad plays for Tuesday night. Sean had 2 threes, both of them in the second half, so we didn't hit anything hardly besides that garbage time Phelps couple buckets at the end of the game to get us a win on the board. But we're going to try to do better today. Tough after having a couple of good days in a row, but we're going to move on to Kansas going up against Iowa State back in the Big 12. You guys know I love the Kansas Jayhawks. They are my team. They're they're close to my home team, but there's something about them. And in conference so far, they've been decent. They lost the opening day game, and then they had back-to-back blowouts. Against Cincinnati, it was a lot closer than the score indicates, especially in the first half. Kansas was walking on eggshells. But Kansas in back-to-back games just came out in the second half, and they've allowed 8 points or less in the first 14 minutes of the second half. They need to play that kind of defense going up against this Iowa State team if they want to win. But I think Iowa State altogether, the team is not better than Kansas talent-wise, but the team is better than Kansas with team chemistry and just how they're playing right now. I think Kansas, like I've said on many breakdowns, they have the most talented roster in college basketball. But Iowa State as a team, they're just playing better. Simple as that. Kansas, 3 consecutive wins. Iowa State hasn't dropped a game since Auburn very early in the season. They lost that game by 2 points. That's a very, very good Auburn team. They found a way to win against Texas Tech on the road. That's what good teams do in the Big 12 Conference. Texas Tech is a very hard team to beat, especially at Texas Tech. Iowa State hadn't won there in 4 consecutive years. They found a way to win that game in overtime when they should not have won. Iowa State back in names. This is going to be trouble for Kansas, I think. Iowa State, they're minus 5.5. I'm not comfortable laying that. I will take the under, though, 144.5. Both these teams defensively have been pretty good on the season. Kansas, like I said, in the second half, they just find a way defensively to shut teams down. So I think Iowa State probably has a lead in this game in the first half. Kansas maybe ties it up in the second half with the great defensive play. But in the end, at home, this place is going to be rocking on a Wednesday night. I think Iowa State finds a way to win the game. But I like the under 144.5 as the play. For the next play, we're going to be looking at Georgia going up against Tennessee. Really tough spot for Georgia here. They've been playing so well in the SEC so far. SEC making a case for the best conference in college basketball now. They've always been the best conference in college football, but now college basketball, they have like 8 teams in the top 25. It's insane. But Georgia, one of those teams that I think are now in the top 25. I think they're 23rd. But they're going on the road here, going up against Tennessee. They've won back-to-back games, one against Kentucky, 6th-ranked team in the nation, one against Oklahoma, 17th-ranked team in the nation at the time. 13-point win against Kentucky, 10-point win against Oklahoma, both of those games being at home. The problem with Georgia has been playing on the road because they really haven't played on the road the entire season. They've played one game in conference on the road. That was Ole Miss. They lost that game by 12 points. The defense did travel, but the offense did not travel. That's a big problem going up against Tennessee. You've got to be able to find some rhythm on the offensive side because if you don't, Tennessee is going to eat you alive. Just take a look at what happened this season with teams going on the road to face Tennessee. Arkansas, 52 points. That's a pretty good offensive team. on the season. Tennessee this season has not lost a game at home. The only game that they've lost is at Florida. I think that this Tennessee team is really settling in after that loss. I'm going to take them here minus 11 as the play. I expect it to be somewhat of a close game, but just like I said with the Iowa State game, at home, good environment. This Tennessee team is going to find a way to pull away late. I'm going to take them minus 11 as the play. Let's go to the player props for tomorrow. We're going to start with the Tennessee game, looking at the leader of the Tennessee Volunteers. Not the leading scorer for the Volunteers, but the leading everything else. I'll say heart, I'll say assists, I'll say just overall captain and leader of this team. Zakai Ziegler to go over his total assists. Probably going to be 7.5 is my guess. He's averaging 7.5 in the season. But take a look at that game against Texas. If you watch that game, you know he's just so scrappy. He's so quick, and he just has so much IQ that he knows exactly what to do when the shot clock's running down. He's also an incredibly small person. I'm not saying that to be mean, but he's listed as 5'9". I would say he's like 5'7" if I had to take a guess. But he's 5'7", 171 pounds. He's so quick to get himself to the rim, and then when he gets himself to the rim, two people collapse and he just kicks it out for the open three or dumps it down for the easy dunk. He's been doing that the entire season. Last game against Texas, 8 assists. On the road against Florida, only 1 assist. But if you take a look at the games at home for him for Tennessee, at home, he's been spectacular. 12 points per game at home, 8.5 assists per game at home. I think Tennessee will be able to score against this Georgia team. I'm going to take his over 7.5 assists as the first play. And for the second play, we're going to go back to that Kansas and Iowa State game. This guy's got Mac blood in him. If you know me, I'm a Mac fan. He is from Buffalo. I think he's going to have a monster game in this one going up against Kansas. He's coming off his best game of the season on the road against Texas Tech. Put up a big number there, 26 points on 15 shots. I don't think he's going to put up 26 points in this game, but I do think he's going to put up at least 3 threes. He's coming off back-to-back games making 3+ threes, and he's made 2+ threes in 5 consecutive games. Curtis Jones has been setting up shop on the outside, 5+ threes in 5 consecutive and 7+ threes in 4 of the last 5 games. Like I said, Mac Blood from Buffalo, 15 points per game with Buffalo, transferred to Iowa State last season, 11 points per game. Now he's the leading scorer for this Cyclones team, 17.3 points per game. He's a deep threat for the Cyclones. He's not just a deep threat, though. He can get it at the rim. He can get it at the free throw line. But for this game going up against the Jayhawks, you've got to have a guy who can make threes to beat the Kansas Jayhawks. I think Curtis Jones is going to be that guy. Going to take him over 2.5 made threes for the final play of the day. Let's go take a look at the recap graphic. We're going with the under 144.5 points between Kansas and Iowa State. If I had to take a side, I mean, 5.5 with Kansas, I guess. Those teams are really close and talent-wise. I just think Iowa State's playing the better basketball, plus they're at home. But, I mean, you can't pass up 5.5 with Kansas. I feel like Tennessee minus 11 is going to be the play there. Curtis Jones over 2.5 made threes, and Zakai Ziegler over 7.5 assists, what it's most likely going to come out. But, guys, it's going to do it for the NCAA basketball picks and props for Wednesday, January 15th slate of games. So you guys enjoyed the content. Please sure to drop a like this video and subscribe down below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.